Attention, this is a matter of national security. After a meteorite crashed into the New Jersey Turnpike, the following digital audio transmission from the You Watch I Listen podcast was intercepted by NASA scientists in the year 2019. The You Watch I Listen podcast is about to start. Sit down, listen close, and try not to die. The You Watch I Listen podcast starts now.
Guys, obviously we're recording right now as we're finishing up episode 66 of You Watch I Listen, and now for the upcoming NFL season, we're getting rid of our last word for the next 25 weeks or so, and the last half of every episode will be us talking about our picks for this week in the NFL. We're a week and a half away from the first game of the season between the Packers and the Bears, and we're going to dedicate this time to giving our predictions for this upcoming NFL season.
Yes,
division
we
winners,
are.
Super Bowl winners, award winners, any other random ideas we may have. So why don't we dedicate some of this time to the NFL? Obviously, last night while we were at Manfro's birthday, we got some huge news. And Josh, I'm assuming you're going to be throwing things up on here.
Yes.
I hope you can do it tonight.
I will.
Okay, cool.
Preferably.
We've missed videos for a while now.
Yeah, I know.
I like when you get creative. So the huge news that came out last night at Manfro's birthday is that Colts superstar quarterback Andrew Luck decided to announce his retirement, citing the struggles he's had with injuries and the rehab process taking the joy of the game away from him. I am a huge Andrew Luck fan. I have been since he was drafted. I was part of the Suck for Luck campaign for the Dolphins in the 2011 season.
I think everyone else was too.
Isn't it crazy that in 2019 Ryan Tannehill and RG3 are still in the NFL, and Andrew Luck is not. Now, obviously, Andrew Luck's career was on a Hall of Fame path.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers he put up in his first years in the season were right there with Peyton Manning, Dan Marino.
I think someone tweeted about it last night, and it's like the Colts in the last 20 years have had one best Super Bowl out of
Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck.
And
Yeah, and it's really unfortunate. I've seen people call him soft and a pussy. I'm like, how about he's smart? Who knows if in 2 years he's going to decide, hey, I feel good again and I want to play,
dude. And then the Colts decided not to recoup any of the signing bonus.
And
they're
so
like, listen, bro, this is what you did for us.
That drunken pillhead Jim Irsay for not trying to go and take it from him.
Dude, he did something right.
He absolutely did something right. But the idea that Andrew Luck is like soft or whatever, if he's not there mentally, why is he going to go out there and just risk his teammates and his play and be gun shy?
Well, especially, I mean, outside of Quentin Nelson, who is their guard, I mean, who else is going to block for it? He's been running for his life for the last 4 years.
And, I mean, listen, if the Colts were built the right way, I mean, they could easily be in the conversation for worst team again this year. Although, with Quentin Nelson, the offensive line being better, Jacoby Brissett should be... Jacoby Brissett has played well in spurts.
He's not a bad quarterback,
No,
honestly.
he's not.
Is he the guy? No.
No, he's probably not the guy, but you're also talking about a guy that looked like the guy, a generational talent that's leaving, and a guy that makes everyone around him better. I mean, the fact that he missed an entire year, came back last year, and was phenomenal again.
He won comeback player of the year.
There is the conspiracy theory that he's going to go to the XFL because his father is like the GM of the league.
Yeah, I heard that.
Could you imagine if that? I don't think that they collectively. I think that his contract wouldn't allow him to go play the same sport.
No.
I don't know that definitively, but it would be interesting if something like that happened because you'd instantly give the XFL a face.
Dude, I just don't know. I don't see that happening.
No,
honestly, because I think Andrew Luck is such a genuine dude. Like, there's compilations of him congratulating people on hitting him.
Yeah, dude. I love those videos of him getting like, oh, nice hit, number 52.
Yeah, nice hit. Like, dude, Danny Shelton, all 350 pounds, just laying on top of him. Nice hit, bro. Nice hit.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking caveman from the Geico commercials.
When they played the Dolphins with Paul Soliai was on the Dolphins with his wild Samoan hair. He's like, you've been tearing up all day, number 57.
Yeah.
You've been tearing it up. And the biggest thing we're going to miss about Andrew Luck is the Civil War Andrew Luck Twitter account.
It's been the best Twitter account following the last couple of years. Beard. Oh, my God. I'm telling you, dude, he looks like the caveman from the Geico commercials.
He does. But the fans booing him, I didn't like. That was like, dude, what do you do?
No, that's...
As a Colts fan,
first of all,
you're one of the most spoiled fan bases. There's two spoiled fan bases when it comes to quarterbacks, and it's the Packers and the Colts. Like, you should not ever be booing your quarterback. If you get one Super Bowl, I know Andrew Luck didn't win one, but you got a Super Bowl from Peyton Manning, got a Super Bowl from both Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Shut the fuck up.
So I saw from the Captain Andrew Luck Twitter account, Dearest Mother, the quill has never felt more heavy. I have made a decision to holster my sidearm permanently. I shall battle no more. The decision is difficult, but as the Hogs taught me, I must be true to myself. I am coming home to care for you and the farm. Andrew.
Okay, so how do we want to start this? Do we want to start with talking about our own teams and what we think is going to happen, and then go into divisions?
Actually, let's go to divisions, and let's hit our teams as we go.
So I got this mapped out. We'll start out with my division, the AFC East. Are we all in agreement here? It's the Patriots' division to lose, obviously.
Yes.
Who is the second best team in the division?
Jets, easy.
Jets?
The Bills.
You think the Bills? Raise your mic a little bit.
Why the Bills, honestly? Because I think the Jets just have a great roster. I cannot stand Adam Gase.
I think probably the reason Josh is hesitant because of Adam Gase, and they've already had a ton of injuries.
Yeah, a little bit. I have a hard time believing in the Jets at all. Ever.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the Jets tend to play well when there's no hype around them, and they disappoint when there is hype around them.
That's a good point. I just think that...
And there is hype around them this year.
I just think that the Bills have a solid running game.
They do. They added Frank Gore to back up LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
It's the oldest running backs in the league.
Jesus.
But, yeah. I mean, but still, veteran presence.
It's a solid running game, veteran presence, an offense that should be getting better this year.
The Bills are going to come down to the growth of Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And how Josh Allen's going to improve, because he improved down the stretch last season. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of Ben Roethlisberger to him. He's very elusive in the pocket. He's hard to bring down. He's got a huge arm. He takes risks. He's going to take a lot of hits, and that's going to come down to his health at that point.
Yeah.
And, Ben Roethlisberger, for as good as he's been, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame player. He's had a lot of injuries because of the amount of hits he takes. So you got to watch that with Josh Allen. I don't love the pass catchers around Josh Allen.
I was going to say, who's he throwing to?
Their offensive line is actually decent, and I just don't know if they put enough skill position players on both sides of the ball. I think the Bills and the Jets are a lot closer than people realize, so I'm not in disagreement with you, but I think the Jets have the better skill position players
for sure
overall. The problem, though, is Adam Gase, and he loves hating running backs. And I told people, be careful Le'Veon Bell, because Le'Veon Bell will be on pace for 180 yards, and in the second half he's going to get 3 touches, because that's what Adam Gase does.
Well, it's just the weirdest, because, if you look at the offseason acquisitions, just C.J. Mosley, Le'Veon Bell, and Quinnen Williams. So you have
Jamison Crowder.
And Jamison Crowder. And not to mention you have Sam Darnold, who I think is going to take a step forward.
I think Sam Darnold's going to take a big leap, yeah.
And I really believe that defense can be so formidable. The only issue is their secondary. Outside of Jamal Adams,
their secondary is a problem.
I think their corners are going to be
atrocious.
Covering people is going to be bad. Dude, their linebackers are some of the most underrated, with C.J. Mosley, and then you bring in Avery Williamson, who had a great season last year, and they're going to have a devastating...
He's just hurt. He tore his ACL.
Oh, did he really?
Avery Williamson.
Since when?
Adam Gase kept him in the second half, or the second quarter of a preseason game. The second preseason, he tore his ACL.
I didn't even know about that.
Not this preseason game, the last one.
The one
the
before?
Jets.
All right, well, that's a big hit. But
that's a huge hit.
But their defensive line is going to be very formidable. And then I think Leonard Williams is going to take a step forward this year, finally.
The Jets are going to have their problem is, and it's the same problem going back to Rex, they have not been able to develop an edge rusher. And even when they
had Calvin Pace, they thought he was the answer.
They never had an edge rusher. Their best edge rusher in the last few years was when they had Jason Taylor for 1 year, the second AFC Championship they went to under Rex. That was their best edge rusher they've had.
And that was the end. That was the end of his fucking career.
I understand with Tom Brady, you usually beat him with pressure up the middle, and they should be able to do that. But the Patriots are so good at scheming their offensive line to stop that. As far as the Dolphins go, they're going to be in the running for the first overall pick. There's nothing I can say good about them other than it should not be Ryan Fitzpatrick playing quarterback.
I agree.
You traded for Rosen, see what you got. Because if he thrives, it completely changes how you draft next year. And you have so many draft picks that you can either trade down more, you could trade up if you want to take Tua. There's a million things you can do. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know who he is. It's his 15th year in the league. It's his 8th team, I think.
8th
team. You know what you're getting. You're getting, he was doing great early in camp, and then he was doing terrible. That sounds like his entire career. 3 good games, 3 bad games, 2 good games, 1 bad game. It's just, that's Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Remember when Buffalo thought he was the answer, gave him that big contract?
Ryan Fitzpatrick always plays great when you don't expect him to. Literally, the Bills, the Texans, the Jets, the Bucks,
Bengals.
Whenever he isn't gifted the starting job, when he started last year with the Bucks, because Jameis Winston was suspended, he started out 3 straight 400-yard game. Then they said when Jameis Winston came back, Fitzpatrick's still a starter. He started to suck, right? Yeah. When the Jets, he had that great year with them, even though he blew it in Week 17 in Buffalo. Richie was there for it, haha. And then they were like, he's our starter next year.
Wasn't he statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the franchise history.
And he had one of the best single seasons in Jets history. Yeah,
that's crazy to me.
But it should be Josh Rosen starting. You got to see what you have. I know the offensive line is terrible outside of Laramie Tunzel. I know they're talking about trading or cutting Kiko Alonso, Kenny Stills, and I'm forgetting Rashad Jones, but I mean defensively they have pieces. You just you drafted the Christian Wilkinson, the defensive tackle. You just locked up Xavier Howard. You have Minkah Fitzpatrick. You have T.J. McDonald. You have Rashad Jones. I'm telling the name to watch on the Dolphins this year is linebacker Jerome Baker, who was phenomenal last season. He is looking like an absolute animal. Watch that name this year. But they're going to have a tough year. 3 wins I think is reasonable. They're probably going to beat the Patriots once because they always do, even when they're terrible. They'll split with the Jets and the Bills. Adam Gase will beat them in Miami. They'll beat them in New York. The Bills, they'll win in Miami. They'll lose in Buffalo. It's just how it goes. They have a brutal schedule to start, but Josh Rosen should be starting. See what you got.
Fair enough. So I guess, so the Patriots at AFC East?
Patriots AFC East, right?
Okay. So where are you going
Let's just go back. Let's just do AFC East, NFC, AFC. Okay, so NFC East.
Can I go?
Absolutely, please.
I have the Eagles winning this by a fair margin.
I do as well.
And I think the big issue here is because it really comes down to the Cowboys and the Eagles. If Ezekiel Elliott is playing week 1, the Cowboys have a legitimate shot.
They have a legitimate shot of being the number 1 seed in the NFC if Zeke is playing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's how good that team is. That defense is ridiculous, and I think the Cowboys did a very good thing in extending Jalen Smith.
They're getting their center back who missed all last year.
Travis Frederick. Yep. And then you have Van Der Esch, who turned out to be like the second coming of
stud
of Brian Urlacher.
Stud.
Animal. The Giants are a dumpster fire. There's no secret there.
It's going to be between the Giants and the Dolphins for the first overall pick.
I'll be honest with you, and granted it's preseason. Daniel Jones looks kind of real, but again, he's playing against 2s and 3s,
and he's playing without game planning, so they don't know what his weaknesses are. They're giving him the seam every time, which is the throw that he's good at.
But the truth is, I mean, he has looked very well. So we're going to see him at some point this season for sure. And the Redskins are just far away, not going to compete. They're okay.
I think the Redskins they're a competitive team because they have pieces on both sides of the ball. They can play spoiler to both the Eagles and the Cowboys.
They're getting back Darius Grice, who was a great runner last year.
They did announce today that Case Keenum will be the starter. I like that. I think hold back Dwayne Haskins until and if you start 0-3, you give it to Dwayne Haskins.
Dude,
I think Haskins is going to be phenomenal.
I think Dwayne Haskins is going to be a great quarterback. Or as Boomer calls him, he has a howitzer for an arm.
I agree that the Eagles will win the division, but so much of it hinges on the health of Carson Wentz, obviously. If Carson Wentz is healthy, he is an MVP candidate. He'll be in the running for it.
He was the MVP the Super Bowl year until he tore his ACL.
They brought back Deshaun Jackson, so you brought a new element to take the top off of defense. You traded for from the Bears, Tariq Cohen. They traded for you, so you brought in a better pass catching back.
And here's the thing: you didn't even need to bring in Deshaun Jackson. You have Nelson Aguilar, who is a legit downhill threat.
As long as he can hold
on
to
Doug
the ball.
Peterson turned him into a legit threat. He was a bust.
You have a great offensive and defensive line. You win the game in the trenches,
and you still have Zach Ertz.
You have the ability to stop the Cowboys' offensive line and running game, which no other team in your division does. The Eagles, to me, may have the makings of an 11-5 to 12-4 team, depending on the health of Carson Wentz. They have a pretty reasonable schedule. You get to play the Giants twice, for Christ's sake. That's more than reasonable. But obviously, if Wentz doesn't stay healthy, it's going to be tough. I can easily see both the Cowboys and the Eagles both going 11-5, 12-4, and it's going to come down to those divisional matchups. But the NFC East at the top of it should make for an incredibly fun division to watch.
Definitely.
Josh, what do you think? Who wins the NFC East?
I'm with the Eagles, too.
Eagles? Okay, so we're all in agreement there. Again, the Cowboys are such an X factor because I think defensively, the fact that their linebackers are so fast and it's going to make your corners better and your safeties better.
It really just comes down to Zeke at the end of the day.
And Zeke and Wentz, they're the X factors in the division.
Who's the cornerback that took a big step last year when they really had no one? Byron Jones?
Yeah, Byron Jones. Yeah.
Byron Jones, who turned out to be a great fucking man-to-man cover corner. He was awesome. And that Cowboys team is so weird.
It is a weird team.
Because they could be legitimately great for a while if Dak Prescott didn't turn down fucking $30 million.
Well, I had a conversation with Grohow about this, and it's
Do you think he asked for 40 so he can get 35?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Because Russell,
the quarterback that's about to hit the market, your agent should be asking for the most money, even if you aren't worthy of it.
Because Russell Wilson's making 35, so he's going to want more up to what Russell makes. But Russell's been to 2 Super Bowls, dog.
For sure.
Come on.
So the weird thing is, I was talking to Grohow about this the other day. The Cowboys, I don't know if Jerry Jones is capable of operating without drama. I said the comparison I made is like when you're driving up to like a town you're not used to and you're looking for something to eat and you see the Golden Arches. Like that's synonymous with McDonald's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drama is synonymous with the Dallas Cowboys.
Jerry Jones.
It's you're not capable of having one without the other. And Jerry Jones loves it because it keeps his brand recognition at an all-time high.
Well, okay, so when did Jerry Jones buy the Cowboys? In like the early 80s or something like that?
I think, early to mid-80s.
So early in his ownership and his tenure as an owner, what did he do?
He sat back.
He
let football people make football decisions.
And he let Jimmy Johnson trade Herschel Walker, and then he created that entire...
He ran out Jimmy Johnson. He ran out, what's his name? Their greatest coach of all time.
What I'm saying, the biggest drama was the Herschel Walker trade. At the time, it was like, why are you trading this guy? He's your only player. And it turned into, 3 Super Bowl championships in 4 years?
Yep.
That was drama.
Absolutely.
And then that winning, that was even more drama. Good or bad, that still happens.
He loves it.
So he thinks that's a winning recipe still.
Well, he thinks it's a winning business recipe.
That's what I'm saying.
The Cowboys, even when they're terrible, they're the highest rated games every single year.
And especially because he's
they're the Yankees of the NFL. They're
sure.
the pinstripes, the Cowboy star. All right, let's get to AFC North, a division that's largely been controlled by 3 teams in the division over the last decade: the Bengals, the Steelers, and the Ravens. And now we have a new contender, a new front runner, a lot of hype. I
think a very legitimate contender
and
as well.
And I think the hype is real because the Cleveland Browns are going to win the AFC North.
I said the same thing. I really do. I think that roster is too good.
I got the Steelers.
You got the Steelers. Okay.
I got the Steelers. I have the Browns crushing under the pressure of the enormous hype and going 8-8.
This is the reason I don't think the pressure is going to be enormous. They play in Cleveland. Yeah. If this was in New York, Los Angeles, you're playing in a market that their football fandom is real football fandom. Yeah. That is the birth of football.
Well, I mean,
they're not these people that the hype and the stuff surrounding it is as important. They're going to be talking about the football game after the game, not what they post on Instagram. I think it's a different kind of hype in a city like Cleveland rather than New York.
I think that when you look at the players on the team, I think that you have big market mindsets in those players, and I think that's where the pressure is going to come from. Odell Beckham doesn't give a shit what the fucking Cleveland news fucking sports
Why would he?
radio
It's nothing like the New York radio media market.
Because he's who he is, he's still going to hear what the New York people are saying about him. He's still going to hear
he loves it.
What the national people are saying about him.
The one thing I could say, I think the thing that I would normally agree with that, the balance for him is going to have his best friend on the other side in Jarvis Landry. They're going to thrive off each other.
Listen,
to me, like they're a handcuff to each other because they will keep each other cool. I feel like they'll keep each other hyped. One without the other, I don't think performs the same way. I think Jarvis Landry is going to have a massive year with Odell Beckham taking the top off the defense.
I think he really is too.
I think the running game is going to be massive, and I think Baker Mayfield is going to be a legitimate MVP contender.
I was going to say the X factor on that offense is Nick Chubb. 1000%.
Yeah, Nick Chubb.
And
if Nick Chubb goes for 1,200 yards, they're winning this division going away.
Think about this. When Kareem Hunt gets off his suspension, he's going to be on that fucking 53-man roster.
The 2-back sets you can run with Jarvis Landry underneath hitting checkdowns or drags.
That's
Odell Beckham going.
That's the best offense on paper I've seen since the 2008 Patriots.
All the weapons you have, in a very good offensive line, an emerging young defense. The Browns, to me, it's going to come down to, the hype is a thing. They got to live up to their expectations. And I think when you see certain teams that thrive towards the end of a season that started out bad, like the Browns did last year, starting out 0-3 and then going 7-8-1 for their final record, I think that you ride that wave and you bring in a guy like Odell Beckham who is going to bring you highs and lows. It's just who he is, but the highs can carry you even further with the right leadership. And to me, Baker Mayfield has the right leadership and attitude to keep Odell Beckham in check. People got mad at Baker Mayfield for taking shots at Daniel Jones, even though it was taken completely out of context.
It wasn't even that.
It was out of context entirely.
It was, because everyone said the same thing.
The thing with him, he's not going to be afraid of Odell Beckham like Eli Manning and the Giants coaching staff was. Baker will get in his face. Baker Mayfield don't give a fuck. What? Who's just?
What the hell's going on?
Whose phone is that?
I don't know.
Josh, is that you?
Is that your phone?
Yeah.
God damn it!
Do you have a tumor on your leg that pressed the button?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, but my whole thing is too. I mean, piggybacking off what you said, that Baker Mayfield has no fear. Just look back when he played for Oklahoma. He played at Ohio State. What did he do? He took the Oklahoma flag to the middle of that field and stuck the fucking flag in the middle. He doesn't care.
That's the thing. He's not going to let Odell Beckham tell him what to do.
not shaking his hand and bringing it to Kansas, who was irrelevant in
going
college
after
football.
Hugh Jackson.
Going after Hugh Jackson,
Dude,
Denzel Ward flipping the
he
ball
ain't
to
gonna
him.
let Odell Beckham
Dude,
dictate where the ball goes. That to me is such a huge, integral part of the success of the team and the success of Odell Beckham.
There's a swagger in Cleveland that hasn't been seen since
Jim Brown.
LeBron James got drafted by the Cavaliers. I'm talking about Cleveland as a whole.
Yeah.
But football, Jim Brown, sure. Now the rest of the division, you got the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson's not the answer. That's what I just believe. The Bengals suck.
The Bengals will be in the running for the top 5 pick. With Lamar Jackson. It's easy to say, like, because you see the passing stats, but he wins. Like, you said this with Tebow for years. He wins. Like, he lost one game down the stretch, and it was the playoffs, right?
Yeah, to the Pats. I know. I lost a slap bet.
And he's looked way better in camp this year. I still don't know. I'm not sold on him either.
Okay.
But there's enough I see from Lamar Jackson where that's going to be a really hard guy to game plan for over 16 games. Because if he does get better as a passer, he can still run like that.
Going off of what you said, that you can't really tell much from the preseason.
Sure,
but from your starters, you still have to take stuff at face value.
Absolutely.
He still has to learn how to keep his eyes downfield, like Pat Mahomes does. Granted, he's not Pat Mahomes.
No, who is?
But there are a couple times when I've been watching enough game film where I've seen that he's had an open receiver in the flat for an easy first down and he takes off.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he's a good enough athlete. He makes shit work like that. But listen, he can't. You just can't take those. You can't take hits, and it's not going to last.
It's going to depend on when he takes off, if the offense starts designing plays to give that read like he's going to take off, so the safeties cheat up close, then he could take those deep shots. But the thing with the Ravens that can keep them in games and help him win, he's not going to win any 35-32 shootout.
No shot.
But their defense is still so good, and you can win with the defense, and they'll be able to win 19-17 games regularly. I have them as like a 9-10 win team.
It's just hard for me because how dominant he was in college at Louisville of all places, and I don't see that translating to be that same dominance. Not yet.
I don't know about dominance, but success and dominance are two different things.
That's what I'm saying.
And the fact that he came in last year,
he had like 75 touchdowns this Heisman Trophy year?
He was crazy. He doesn't have to have 75 touchdowns. If he goes 21-13 and he has 600 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns, the Ravens are going to be a legitimate playoff team. And once their defense gets in,
I think 500. That's where I said.
I have them about 9 wins. So
I have them at 8-8.
All right, Josh, who do you have in the AFC? You said the Steelers already.
Yeah, you said the Steelers.
The Bengals are going to be the worst team in the division.
Bengals stink, and I think the Steelers. Listen, Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger, and with Juju Smith-Schuster, I think the offense is still good enough. And then with Connor running the ball, you see what
their offensive line is good. Their linebackers are good.
They were so competitive without Le'Veon Bell, who was a top 3 back in his position, and Antonio Brown, who is, the best wide receiver in the game. I'm sorry.
But he's not.
Yes, he is.
There's
absolutely.
100%.
Talent-wise,
he's the best wide receiver in the game.
He's the most complete wide receiver in the game because he can do everything. And Julio, the best receiver in the game is DeAndre Hopkins. He's the only one that didn't drop a fucking pass last year.
Look, I will say this.
targets or something like that.
Because I get it. Julio misses a lot of games. He drops some passes from time to time. He doesn't get a lot of touchdowns because he doesn't really get the opportunities. He's always fucking quadruple covered.
Sure.
When
Julio is on fire, you
when
can't
someone
stop him.
approaches his yards per game, then I'll say maybe.
Oh, the triple coverage didn't stop Calvin Johnson. I'm sorry.
Well, Calvin Johnson is arguably the most talented wide receiver of all time.
I agree with that.
I know, that's ridiculous.
I didn't start saying Julio was the best wide receiver in the NFL until Calvin Johnson retired. I was just going to point that out.
No, for sure.
Listen, people telling me Julio's the best. I'm not going to say no, he's not. Like, he's in the conversation.
The only issue
DeAndre Hopkins is the best to me.
The only issue I have is the lack of touchdowns. It's the offense's fault, and it's Matt Ryan.
It did stop last year.
It did stop last year. It was like after he went like 10 straight games without a touchdown, then he started going on a tear.
And the other thing, too, because I didn't believe him, I guess you got mad at him at first, was that he's not a real red zone threat. But
he's
not.
He's not.
Like, it's one of those things,
the thing that Antonio Brown does differently is because he's a smaller dude, he can both play big and small. Like, he could play in a West Coast system, a deep, and that's Julio would be able to play in any system, too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Julio would thrive in the same way in Pittsburgh that Antonio Brown did.
Julio's a better safety than most starting safeties in the NFL.
The problem with Julio, because of his size, is that to be a red zone threat, you got to either be small or you got to have a quarterback. And I love Matt Ryan. He has Hall of Fame numbers.
Well, he doesn't get out of the pocket very well, and if he needs to break a play,
he's never moved that well.
You have to put the ball into such tight windows.
And he's not the size of Calvin Johnson, Julio.
Accuracy,
he's a big dude, but
because Julio drops a lot of those passes that he touches, but he's just kind of, it's either too high for him or he's not in the right position. There's only one guy in my mind that could make the throws, two guys in my mind that could make the throws that Julio needs in the red zone.
Aaron Rodgers?
No. Well, not currently.
Okay.
Well, Aaron Rodgers is one of them, and Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
okay, that's fair.
I don't think
Peyton
anybody
Manning, those touch throws in a
That's
short
fair.
window. No one was better.
I would even say Tom Brady. Tom Brady's ridiculous in the red zone.
I mean, yeah, that's
ridiculous
he's
in the
just
red
so
zone.
smart with the football. All right, let's get to NFC North. To me, the NFC North is it's a one-team division.
No, to me, I think this is the most interesting division.
I do think it's an interesting division because I don't think the Lions are going to be as bad as people think they're going to be.
I don't.
I think Matthew Stafford, based on what he dealt with this offseason with his wife having brain cancer and having a tumor removed, I think he's going to be highly motivated to play. I think Kerryon Johnson's going to have a huge year for the Lions. They're still, to me, like a 6 to 8 win team. They're about 500. But to me, the most talented division, or most talented team on both sides of the ball is the Chicago Bears. I have the Chicago Bears as a legitimate Super Bowl contender. An NFC title, I think they're going to be in the NFC Championship game.
Really?
Yes. Their biggest thing that holds me back on the Bears a little bit is they still have, I think they're being a little cursed by the kicking game and what happened last season against the Eagles. But when it comes to defense, offense, the ability to run the ball, the ability to create plays that play to Mitch Trubisky's strengths, I don't see any team more complete than the Chicago Bears.
The titty kisser.
I don't like the Vikings. I don't like Kirk Cousins. He's not a winner. He's a perennial loser.
I don't know, man. I just think that that Vikings offense is too good, and I think it's going to happen.
I think their offense is good fantasy-wise.
Especially with Dalvin Cook coming back.
But they got worse with Kirk
stuff.
Cousins than they were with Case Keenum. They were less efficient.
I'm just still thinking about it.
And their offensive line is dog shit.
Listen, I think the Packers are trash this year. I don't
know about trash.
I think there's not a lot there, bro.
Here's the thing, though. If with Aaron Rodgers, how much of trash could they be?
Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just because
I think they're going to finish with a better record than the Vikings.
They're not going to stop anyone, man. Their defense is non-existent, bro.
Well, I don't think it's not. I don't think it's not. I think you're completely overlooking how much Mike McCarthy tore that team apart in the locker room last year. No one wanted to play for him, and that's not to say that Matt LaFleur is the answer. I don't think he is. But I think the fact that no one really knows what they're going to be, and as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy and he goes with the coach and what he wants to do, you don't really know. To me, the Packers are probably the biggest X factor team in the league, the biggest unknown. Because if all of a sudden it clicks and they play like we thought they would the last few years, their team is not dramatically different. They got better losing Clay Matthews, because Clay Matthews has been the most overrated defensive player in the NFL for the last 6 seasons.
And they lost Ty Montgomery.
They lost Mike Daniels, too. They got rid of Mike Daniels. But there's so many things about the Packers that just hinge on Aaron Rodgers. Because if Aaron Rodgers puts up the year you expect from him, it's hard to see them not competing, because the Vikings, again, while they have these weapons on offense, their offensive line is terrible. How are they not able to move the ball like they should?
Well, especially because they're a dome team. So I agree with you too. They should be better.
The Vikings
than that.
are all or nothing. They're home run or strikeout every play.
I just really like the Vikings this year.
I don't see what anyone sees in Kirk Cousins.
But it's hard to go against the Bears too.
Yeah, the Bears just they have so much going for them. The Kirk Cousins things. Dude, he's been a total farce since he came into the league. A complete farce. He puts up a flashy highlight, but he misses so many open throws. He doesn't come up big when he's supposed to. He is basically Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a very similar player.
With a fully guaranteed contract.
He's a fully guaranteed contract.
$84 million.
I think the fact that they still have not improved their offensive line is going to kill them.
That's not going to help.
You can't win in that division against the Bears without an offensive line. To me, those 3 teams, the Vikings, the Packers, and the Lions, are all going to hover between 5 to 9 wins. I think they're all in that area. I think the Lions will take a step forward. A bold prediction for this division is that the Lions will finish better than either the Packers or the Vikings.
Okay.
And again, I'm not trying to say the Packers aren't going to be bad. I'm saying I don't know. When you have someone like Aaron Rodgers, I have a hard time saying you're going to be a trash team. It's very difficult for me.
That's just me, but I understand.
Okay, Josh, who do you have in the NFC North?
I got to go with the Bears.
The Bears. Okay. AFC South, a division that obviously is an upheaval with the retirement of Andrew Luck. I have the Colts winning the division until yesterday.
Did you really?
Absolutely. Who did you have?
The Texans.
The Texans. No, I thought they were going to take a step back.
I really think the Texans are still too good.
The reason I was going to take the Colts is because, one, Andrew Luck absolutely owns the Colts, and it's second year back from injury.
Owns the Texans?
The Texans, excuse me. He owns the Texans. He does own the Colts now, technically.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're still paying him. I just saw he always owns the Texans, and I thought that another year back from injury is going to be even better, and that young offensive line in the Colts and that young defense was going to take a huge step forward. But now, I'm going to have to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Stop.
No, I'm dead ass serious. I'm dead ass serious.
Foles, really?
I think with Nick Foles, the way they're going to run the offense to his strengths, the ability to run the ball with the best defensive front on the other side, being able to control the line of scrimmage with an improved offensive line, I think that they're going to be able to contain most offenses. I think they're going to be able to win a lot of low-scoring games. As long as Nick Foles is healthy, I'm going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the AFC South. That is my biggest outlier division pick.
For sure.
The Texans should.
I have the Texans. I think the team is just still too good.
But the offensive line again. Deshaun Watson will not be able to take hits this year like he did last year. He's going to get the same kind of issues that Andrew Luck had, where he takes so many hits. That offensive line, and they had the worst draft of any team for me this past season.
Okay.
They did nothing to improve the offensive line.
Okay.
And picture that Jacksonville Jaguars defensive line and linebackers
especially
going toe-to-toe with the Texans' dog shit offensive line.
They got that kid from Houston, Ed Tolliver or whatever, who's very good.
That's
That's
what I'm worried about. I think the Texans, they could very easily win this division. They obviously have the best wide receiver in the league, but they just lost Lamar Miller for the year. They just lost a running game. Lamar Miller, he isn't a superstar, but he is a damn quality running back.
He's a professional running back.
He does everything you ask him to. He can catch it. He can pass block.
Even when he was in Miami, he was a professional running back.
Once you get the ball in his hands, that is going to completely change the dynamic of the Houston Texans. And before Lamar Miller got hurt, I may have edged it out to the Texans, but I think that makes such a difference because now these defensive linemen will be able to pin their ears back even more and just go right after Deshaun Watson.
Well, apparently, I forget who was connected to the Texans, but they were saying they're going to sign apparently someone in free agency that brings. I forget someone who just got released or something. I can't even call it.
They're going to have to do something about it. Josh, who do you have in the AFC South?
I'm going with the Jaguars also.
Jaguars, okay. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a two-division team. I have another bold prediction for this one, is that by week 5, Ryan Tannehill will take over the quarterback position of the Tennessee Titans because Marcus Mariota has turned out to be a bust. You have to say it at this point. Yeah. He gets hurt. The system, from what I'm hearing out of camp, is that Ryan Tannehill is outperforming him with the ones. And when they've put Mariota on the twos, Tannehill's outperformed him on the twos, too.
Right.
No pun there. I do think Tannehill will take over. The Titans, to me, are a very weird team. They're very much like the Packers in the sense that I don't really know which way they're going to go. Losing Taylor Lewan for the first 4 games of the season is a huge loss. Yeah. But when it comes to offensive line, they have the best offensive line in the division.
I would say, for sure.
And if they're able to run the ball, because you don't know what you're getting from Derrick Henry, you don't know who their pass-catching options are.
I think Derrick Henry's going to turn it on this year. He figured it out towards the end of the season.
But he came in out of shape apparently. He's been hurt.
He's been very up and down. I mean, we were actually at Bob's house when he ran the 99-yard touchdown
where he stiff-armed the motherfucker to the ground. He broke off 6 tackles.
I think that was the Jaguars.
I do think Ryan Tannehill will take over by week 6.
Okay, that's fair.
So let's go to NFC South. Josh, your division. Why don't you go first?
All right, I'll go ahead and I'll go here first. So here's the thing about the NFC South. Every couple of years there is a rotation, right?
So you're picking the Bucs.
Every team. Actually, I am.
Really? Yeah. Interesting.
Every team in the NFC South goes through these transitional periods where they're really good for 2-3 years, and then they kind of middle for a while, and then they get really fucking bad for maybe a season or two.
The Panthers are in it right now, yeah.
And then once they're bad for a season or two, then they come back and they surprise everybody and they win the division, and it's the Bucs' turn.
And I mean, when you talk about offense, the Bucs have it, and they have a coach that knows how to coach an offense in Bruce Arians. And Bruce Arians, it might be the coach to figure out Jameis Winston, because you can see it with Jameis Winston. There's times you watch him and you're like, yo. It's there.
Yeah.
The passing ability to hit all the throws is there. It's the decision making, dropping back too far, holding on to it for too long. But when he's on, you see it. And I mean, the fact that Mike Evans has been able to put up numbers with inconsistent quarterback play, they have a good offensive line.
Yeah.
Their defense, they had a very, very good draft on their defense. They're another one of those teams that I'm not sure on. And Bruce Arians to me makes such a difference.
Well, look what Bruce Arians did to Arizona a couple years ago, where they were the most complete team in the league.
They were complete. Honestly. I mean, look what he did with Andrew Luck when Chuck Pagano got cancer.
Dude, look how he turned around Carson Palmer's career.
Yeah, he changed Carson Palmer entirely.
Crazy.
Now, I am not picking the Bucs. I'm going with the team that should have been in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row, the New Orleans Saints. Now, a lot of this, I'm a little worried about if Drew Brees has finally hit that age wall, because you started to see it down the stretch after he should have been the MVP with how he started the year.
So I'm going to call it this way. While the Bucs are in their upswing stage, I know the pattern by this point. The Saints are going to be bad this year. They're not going to be Panthers bad, but they're going to go 7-9,
7-9, 8-8 kind of team.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Every couple of years. the team that's at the top has a tragedy.
No, it's true.
And
it's
the
true.
tragedy.
So do you think Michael Thomas gets hurt because he just signed the
No,
big contract
the
extension?
tragedy was the championship game last year.
Well, and what about the year before, the Hail Mary to in Minnesota?
That was the tragedy. So they had the tragedy this year. They're going to be middle of the road, like with the Falcons. Lost the Super Bowl, middle of the road next year.
How did they lose a Super Bowl?
They blew a 28-3 lead
To who?
The New England Patriots.
And how was it looking at halftime?
It was looking great, according to you.
Now,
Cunt.
now,
all right.
Just now, for all the shit I give you, I'm picking the Falcons.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. That offense is honestly prolific. I think Julio's going to have another great
Depends
season.
on how Freeman bounces back as well.
I disagree on the Julio aspect, believe it or not, because I'm always talking about it. I think that Julio's going to have his lowest yardage total since he started going on this tear where he's had 1,500 yards or more.
Do you think it's an ability thing
year.
or that they're going to focus on running the ball more?
No, I think that Calvin Ridley is going to blow up this year.
I can see that.
I was thinking, and also with the defense, you're getting Deion Jones and Keanu Neal back, which are two very big pieces.
And I was
on that
actually going to bring that up, and the reason I'm actually a little high on the Falcons is because last year they had to rely on blitzing to create pressure more than almost any team. They weren't able to create pressure without the blitz. They were like, I think, pressure without the blitz, they were like 13%. That's horrendous. I think
they were feeling the loss of Dwight Freeney.
They honestly they were. I mean,
I know.
Just that veteran presence makes a difference. And but I still don't love their offensive line entirely, and I don't know how well they're going to be able to get to the quarterback.
I was going to
say, in that division, you have to get to the quarterback. You have to.
They're going to feel the loss of Tevin Coleman, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that is, huge loss.
But the other, I got to see where someone else has to step up. So this is where you get an undrafted or a third or fourth round pick that's going to step up in camp and be that guy. So I think the Falcons are maybe one or two pieces away from honestly, really competing with the Saints. I think the Saints are still the best roster, top to bottom in the NFL. But I kind of agree with you how bad things have gone the last two seasons. I think
it's an NFC South thing. If the Saints were in any other division,
Panthers lose the Super
I would
Bowl.
agree with you 100%.
I think the Panthers.
I would agree with you 100% if it was any other division.
The NFC South has this weird juju around it. But I mean, the Bucs are the only one that haven't had any positive recently.
You know, if you look back on it in the last 20 years, outside of the Patriots themselves, the NFC South has boasted more Super Bowl appearances than any other 100%. Division.
I mean, it's true. I still am going to go with the Saints because I just think, I think actually losing Mark Ingram is going to help them because it's going to create an ability to spread the ball around more. You do lose that bruising back, but he was out a while. You have this amazing complete running back in Alvin Kamara who can do everything.
Dude, he was not even half the player he was in Tennessee.
Exactly.
Sometimes people just get to the NFL and it just works.
For me, like what happened to the Saints, and it could be that weird curse thing that happens. To me, that's something that either motivates them to prove everyone wrong, or they let that define them for the next 4 years. But for me, it's mostly about if Drew Brees is starting to deteriorate, because it looked like that at the end of last season. So you're taking the Falcons, you're taking the Bucs, I'm taking the Saints. Okay. And now we're going to NFC. Oh, we just did NFC South. AFC West. Really interesting division.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting division because the Chargers are in such a weird place. The Chiefs are obviously the Chiefs, and I think without question they're winning the division.
And hey, if this man's word is anything to go by, I got to stick with the juice, and I got to go with Mahomes.
Hey, everybody, it's yours truly.
Wait, I'll say. Speaking of, did you see he was doing his fantasy football draft? An hour later, he took Andrew Luck.
So, are we all taking the Chiefs in this division?
I think you have to.
I'm doing it, gritting my fucking teeth.
Yeah, well, last year you told us Pat Mahomes was overrated.
He still fucking sucks.
He doesn't suck.
No, he absolutely.
The Broncos are just in one of those weird transition
They're
periods.
like an 8-8 team.
It really is. They're going to be 500, but I still think
their
that
defense is going to be disgusting. And their running game is going to be nasty.
Watch out for Bradley Chubb for defensive player.
He's going to be in the running for it. We'll get to that in a bit.
But like I said, so my whole thing is it's hard to take away anything from the Chiefs, and they are getting back to Tyreek Hill, which pisses me off, not because he's playing for the Chiefs, but because of what actually happened. The loss of Kareem Hunt, they're not going to feel it all that much because
Williams is a good running back.
Dude, they picked up the slack very nicely.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's just that defense is still
Tyreek Hill's not
going
to miss any time.
No.
Your defense should be better.
With the Broncos being a bad team last year, like granted, it's also a division opponent. The Broncos took them to the end of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very good division. The Raiders stink.
The Raiders, I don't think are going to win more than 5 games.
The Raiders stink. The Chargers, I think, are a 12-win team.
That's been on Hard Knocks. Had a winning season after?
The Jets went to the playoffs after being on Hard Knocks.
Let's go get a fucking snack.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rex.
I love that. That's my all-time favorite Hard Knocks moment.
I think the Chargers...
I think the Bengals made the playoffs once after, because they were on it like 3 times. I think one of those years Marvin Lewis lost in the playoffs.
I think the Chargers are a 12-win team.
I did, but
I really do.
What about what's his name? The running back.
What?
He's not playing.
So what? Melvin Gordon.
You lost Derwin James for the year.
Not for the year.
He's out until at least week 12. He had bent a screw in his foot.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's pretty much.
I
done
knew he
for
was
the year.
hurt. I didn't know the extent
I
of
don't
the
think
injury.
the Chargers are going to win more than 8 games.
I think
the loss of Gordon is going to be massive, and I think losing Derwin James makes that defense so much different because of his ability to disrupt the line. Your linebackers play better because of him. Your safeties play better because of him.
They played better without Melvin Gordon, honestly.
Well, they went 4-0 without him.
They didn't miss a beat.
They went 4-0 without him, and I think he's being an idiot holding out because he has no leverage because
None
they
whatsoever.
went 4-0.
Yeah,
But the fact that he can do so many different things, and now you're going to have to rely on guys that aren't him over 16 games rather than 12.
So
it's huge. I think they're about an 8 to 9 win team, the Chargers. The Chargers are another one of those teams. They always take a step forward, then 2 steps back. They almost Phillip Rivers' entire career with the Chargers. Every time you think they're about there, they lose.
You go 13-3 with Marty Schottenheimer, you lose in the first round.
Exactly. But we're all taking the Chiefs there, and then we get to the NFC West, a very interesting division to me.
Is it though?
Yeah, it really is. You want to know why?
Why?
I don't think the 49ers are going to be a bad team.
Yeah, with the Garoppolo goat coming back.
Okay. Listen, I actually like Jimmy G, but people need to calm down about a couple things.
People have been talking shit about him lately.
Well, yeah, because he had a terrible practice. He threw like 4 interceptions, and a preseason game he had a 0.0 rating. But they weren't terrible with Mullins last year.
No.
Would they win 6 games last year? Six and
they even played
6 and
great
10?
with Beathard. CJ Beathard didn't play bad last year at all.
To me, they're a team that can really take a step forward this year if Garoppolo comes back, and it might take him a couple weeks.
You bring in Tevin Coleman. You draft Nick Bosa.
You're getting McKinnon back. You're getting Jarrett McKinnon back. You draft Nick Bosa. The 49ers are a team that can definitely make moves in there, and I'm actually a little worried about the Rams because I do believe in the Super Bowl hangover. The team that loses the Super Bowl almost always takes a step back.
I just think that.
And I think Gurley's going to have a really bad year.
That could very much be.
But in his knee,
dude. I really believe that Sean McVay is a good enough coach that he will make the adjustments necessary.
I agree with Sean McVay being a great coach.
The only time where he was truly outcoached all last season was a Super Bowl, and that was Bill Belichick.
Well, also the thing that the Rams started to have a dip in their offense after Cooper Kupp got hurt. Goff's play dropped so poorly once Cooper Kupp got hurt. You're
Kupp's coming back.
You lost Ndamukong Suh on defense, and you lost someone else.
Well, you didn't. Ndamukong Suh didn't mean all that much.
Well, he took attention away from Aaron Donald.
Yeah, but does Aaron Donald need it? Dude, he's the best player in the league.
I still think they're winning this division, but the 49ers will make it interesting. As far as the other teams in the division,
I don't like the Seahawks, and I think the Cardinals are the worst team in the NFL.
They probably are. I think the Seahawks are a team. They're always one that you can't count out because of Russell Wilson. But they lost a lot on their. They were in the playoffs last year. They were a good team.
I just one of those things. I just hate the Seahawks.
To me, about a 9-win team. The Seahawks.
I'll tell you what though. I listen. As much as I like Kyler Murray, I think it's going to be an abysmal season, and this is going to be very dangerous for the Cardinals moving forward because as bad as their offense is, outside of David Johnson and Larry Fitzgerald, and David Johnson hasn't shown you anything since his rookie year, to be quite honest, that this could turn out to be a really bad season moving forward for Kyler Murray because this is the type of season
I'm worried about his health behind that offensive
and a type of roster that's going to diminish his confidence no matter how good he's been his entire career, Oklahoma, high school, whatever. He's won everywhere he's gone.
Yeah.
But this is pro ball.
And he's going to be playing behind a terrible offensive line in a tough division.
Bro, he's going to be running for his life. He has no one to throw to.
Play in Seattle.
He's going to play 16 games and say, I should have fucking played baseball.
Probably. So you're taking the Rams in the division as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm taking the Rams,
All right, let's get to our wild card picks for each division. We gave our divisional winners. For me, my wild cards are going to be the Steelers. And who else did I say? The Texans are my 2 wild cards.
Those are your 2 wild cards? Yeah. All right. So I guess if I had to pick my wild card, one is going to be the Broncos. I honestly believe that they could turn it on, how good that offense is and how good the defense is. And my other one is actually going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. Because I don't think –
So we both have a wild card winner coming out of the AFC South.
Correct.
And who's your AFC wild cards?
AFC wild cards, I'm going to go with the Texans.
Okay.
And the Bills.
Okay, the Bills. You're not giving the Browns any love, any playoff love. Okay. Okay, and NFC wild cards. I have the Atlanta Falcons, and I am going to go out on a limb and take the 49ers.
That's a good one. I like that. Okay, then I'm going to go Vikings Saints.
Viking Saints. Okay.
I'm going to take the Falcons and the Cowboys.
Falcons and the Cowboys. Okay. All right. Let's get to our award picks now. Or should we do Super Bowl first and award picks?
Let's do Super Bowl.
Okay, so my NFC Championship game is going to be the Bears and the Saints. My AFC Championship game is going to be the Patriots and the Browns.
Okay, I got the Eagles and the Bears NFC Championship, and then I got the Browns and the Pats AFC.
Okay.
I also have Eagles and Bears, and I'm going to take the Patriots and the Steelers.
Patriots and the Steelers. Okay, my Super Bowl now. I am taking the New Orleans Saints over the New England Patriots. The same pick I had last year. The Super Bowl it should have been.
Yeah.
And the Saints will win the Super Bowl.
Wow, you got the Saints winning?
I got the Saints winning.
Okay.
In Drew Brees' final season.
I got the Bears and the Browns.
Bears and the Browns, and who do you have winning?
I have the Browns.
The Browns winning. That
I
would
really,
be fucking cool.
I really believe there's something magic happening, and believe what you say. Hugh Jackson started this whole fucking thing about 2 years ago, and it's actually a blessing in disguise.
Drafted most of these guys.
Dude,
he was part of it.
The biggest thing ever was the Browns drafting Denzel Ward, looking like fucking geniuses, bringing in that guy
for sure.
But there's something magical happening in Cleveland. Finally, it happened with Cleveland. It happened with the Cavaliers when LeBron came back. The Browns are due, dude. They are fucking due. They got their guy. They have their offense. They have their defense. Myles Garrett is going to be a fucking animal this year, and I really believe that the Browns have what it takes to finally
win a Super Bowl.
Everyone and their mother is going to be a Browns fan this year.
Hey, I bought a Browns hat at Five Below like 10 years ago with Josh.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I saw it in Five Below. He was like, I'm getting this Browns hat. I sent it to Jarvis.
And Baker Mayfield has the swagger that's going to get there. First of all, if you shotgun a beer with your teeth at a Cleveland Indians game wearing your Francisco Lindor jersey,
Josh is going to be shotgunning White Claws.
Yeah.
All right, Josh, what was your Super Bowl and winner?
So my Super Bowl is the Eagles and the Patriots with, unfortunately,
the Patriots
winning.
Really?
Because we are stuck in a nightmare
another
scenario
Super Bowl I don't watch.
where we're just fucking forced to watch the same Super Bowls over and over and over and over again, and it doesn't matter because Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's Tom Terrific, even though he can't get a fucking...
Shut up, bitch.
Even though he can't get his patent fucking approved, asshole.
Okay, so I'm going to Boston next weekend, and my buddy Tyler, who's
friend of the show,
he's a legit Pats fan. He's been a Pats fan since Drew Bledsoe was the quarterback. He's an asshole, right?
Yeah. We cater to cunts around here. It's
okay. So we're going up there, and my buddy who's planning the bachelor party, hopefully he's not listening, but he fucked everything up. And
hopefully he is listening. You fucked everything up, dude.
So he's like, oh, we're gonna go to Gillette Stadium, and I literally said to him, I go, no. Yeah, I'm not doing it.
I'd rather go to Fenway 100 times.
I would rather go to Fenway.
I agree with that, actually.
Okay, so let's get to awards now. So MVP, who's everyone got as MVP? Josh, why don't you start?
I have got, for MVP, Matt Ryan for the second time, because this year, Matt Ryan is going to drop 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns.
I thought you were going to say 3,500 yards.
He's going to drop 1,100 yards before he breaks his collarbone.
5,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. They're going to make it back to the playoffs. Julio Jones is going to have another great year. He's going to have more touchdowns than you're used to, less yards than you're used to. Ridley is going to explode. He's going to have...
He was my dark horse.
1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Dude, he was my dark horse for Offensive Rookie of the Year last year, legit.
You know, I think the way that the team is built right now, the offensive line has gotten better. You're going to have Mohamed Sanu playing in the slot this year, and to me,
that's where he would
Mohamed
thrive.
Sanu is the number one slot receiver in the NFL right now.
He's not, but okay.
I think so.
He
catches everything
Jarvis Landry's still the number one slot receiver.
Julian Edelman.
I can't. I'm sorry. Julian Edelman is. I don't think Julian Edelman would be as good in any other team.
But it doesn't matter. He's still on the team, though.
Yeah, he is a system piece. But
Yeah, but it doesn't
Jarvis
matter.
Landry
So
is the only true slot receiver of the guys we're talking about.
If Free stays healthy this year and the running game is open up and it opens up the passing game in turn, you're going to see Matt Ryan light it up.
I could see that. I don't know if I think he's MVP, but I could see that easily. If everything breaks right, yes, I could see that. I guess MVP for you?
It's you got to go back. Pat Mahomes going to go back to back. That's how good he is.
I got to take Mahomes.
I got to take Mahomes.
Honestly, and I'm sitting there gritting my fucking teeth because I hate the fucking guy.
All right.
The fact that I pay him twice a fucking
year. MVP of the 2019 NFL season, 2019-2020 season, is Mr. Carson Wentz. I think Wentz, if he's healthy, he will win it. I think it's going to be a two-horse race between him and Baker Mayfield.
Really?
Yeah, I think Baker will be in the running for it. I like that we all have different MVP picks, and I hope it's like some random fucking jerk off that like no one's heard of until this year.
Yeah.
Some fucking tight end that puts up 2,000 receiving yards. Okay, Defensive Player of the Year.
This is easy.
Go.
This is easy. Darius Leonard.
Darius Leonard's your pick.
Darius Leonard's your pick, and I got your pick. It's my pick. Sorry, Darius Leonard's my pick. He was so fucking good last year. But again, it's going to come down to two players: Aaron Donald, Darius Leonard. That's it.
Okay.
Boom, done.
Until Aaron Donald has a bad season, he's my shoe-in every year for Defensive Player of the Year. He's so fucking good.
I was
literally. I know, it's hard, dude. It's really hard.
Until we started this segment, my pick was Aaron Donald. I've been riding with Aaron Donald. It's like when you couldn't pick against J.J. Watt for a while. You knew it was going to be him. But I'm going to go out on a limb, and Myles Garrett will be the Defensive Player of the Year.
That's a good one.
He's going to have 19 sacks. He's going to force a ton of fumbles. He's going to have a pick six this season because they're going to do wild things with him. They're going to put him at the edge edge. They're going to put him in the middle. He's going to play the nose. He's going to be playing upright. He's going to be playing three fingers in the dirt. Myles Garrett.
3 hands in the
dirt.
3
hands in the dirt. Yeah, his giant cock.
Dude. No, but he's
got a huge hog.
For Defensive Player of the Year, again, like I said, Darius Leonard, Aaron Donald, don't sleep on Bradley fucking Chubb.
I agree with that. I think Bradley Chubb will be in the running.
He's going to be awesome.
It's going to be between Donald, Chubb, Miller, and Myles Garrett.
I think Von Miller's a little over the hill.
I don't know if he's over the hill. I think the fact that if Chubb takes a step up and they see that Miller has lost a little bit of a step, they're going to pay more attention to him, and Miller will get to it more.
Again, with preseason, he's looked dominant. Yeah. with that fucking underarm swing move.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Offensive Player of the Year.
Josh,
if Matt Ryan puts up the numbers, I think he's going to put up and win MVP. He's also going to win.
Okay.
Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, you could just throw it up to anyone at this point, but I mean, if I really had to pick one, honestly, probably Michael Thomas.
I was going to say Michael Thomas, but I'm actually going Alvin Kamara. I think Alvin Kamara is going to put up at least 800 rushing yards. I think he's going to put up a 1,000-yard receiving season, and he's going to have double-digit touchdowns. I think he's going to disrupt everything. Another big candidate you have to consider, obviously, is Christian McCaffrey. Even if he's on a terrible team, which I do think the Panthers will be bad, he's going to put up very similar type of numbers to Alvin Kamara. Okay, next we have Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Defensive Rookie of the Year. See, so there's so many, dude.
Mine's easy. It's a team I picked to win the AFC South. AFC South. It's Josh Allen on the Jaguars. I think he's going to put up at least 10 sacks in his rookie year. The fact that he plays on such a dominant defensive line where you can't single team any of these guys, he's going to see he's going to be facing. They're going to move him all around. He's going to be facing the worst link on the offensive line every game he plays. I think he's going to probably at least 10 sacks, if not more. I think he's going to come in and instantly make his name as one of the best defensive linemen and pass rushers in the NFL.
Okay, so defensive Rookie of the Year, Quinn Williams. Quinn Williams, who arguably was the best player in the draft last year or this year.
Playing behind good linebackers where they can do good things behind him as well.
He's got a good defense. He's going to take some pressure. He's going to take some pressure off for Leonard Williams too, but I think that's not going to make that much of a difference. Quinn Williams is made for New York. He has a great personality. He's a young kid. He's fucking hungry, and he's such a disruptive force in the middle of that defense, and I really think he's gonna be the Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay, Josh.
Dude, it was all defense this year, honestly. Yeah. I mean, the only other person I could think of would be Nick Bosa. That would be
Bosa definitely has a legitimate shot, like any Bosa does.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go Bosa.
Yeah, it's just, I mean...
with each of these guys, they can easily win it. And honestly, it's probably going to be like last year where everyone thought what's-his-name was going to win it, Bosa, right?
Yeah.
It ended up being Darius Leonard. So it's one of those things. Or was it Derwin James? Who won it?
No, it was Derwin. No, Darius Leonard won it, but everyone thought it was going to be Derwin James.
Yeah, correct.
But no, here's the thing. Okay, so everyone's like the whole Joey Bosa saga. It was like he held out for more guaranteed money. Don't hate it. That's exactly what you should be doing.
It's what you should be doing.
Now, here's the thing. Joey Bosa comes in, no training camp, no nothing, dominates.
Yeah.
Someone who played him twice a year, believe me, I fucking know. And then watching his little brother play at Ohio State, and Joey was dominant at Ohio State.
Correct.
Nick is 10 times the player Joey ever is, and Nick is going to be ridiculous in that division.
Okay. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Listen, it's between two. To me, it's between two players. One's the number 1 overall pick, and one was completely undrafted. One is Kyler Murray. I think it's got to be a shoe-in just because he is the
betting favorite.
He is that good, and honestly, dark horse. He's an undrafted rookie. I don't know where he went to college because it's that small, but he plays for the Pats. Is Jacoby Myers?
Okay,
he's an undrafted rookie.
Pats always have some weird guy come out. But
wide receiver.
The way they play their system, it's so hard to put your chips on any one player.
Dude, there's no
especially with no Gronk now.
No Gronk, so like you need more targets, and he's been doing great this preseason and had a good camp. So.
Josh, who's your pick for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
I actually think I'm going out on a limb here. I think it's going to be Josh Jacobs.
That's my pick as well. The Raiders running back, first-round pick. I think based on the system the Raiders run, that they're not going to. John Gruden does not trust Derek Carr yet. I think they're going to put a ton of stock into the running game. I think he's going to put up at least 1,200 yards, probably 7 to 10 touchdowns. Going to be a threat in the receiving game as well. For me, it's Josh Jacobs easily.
Okay.
Comeback Player of the Year.
Okay, let me go first. Earl Thomas. Earl Thomas is going to be fucking awesome. He has a chip on his shoulder. He left Seattle with a bad taste in his mouth. He's going to the AFC, and he's going to be playing against a lot of great teams. He has a lot to prove this season, and
on a very good defense as well.
On a good defense where he doesn't really have to be the guy. But he's going to be leaned on for veteran leadership because he's been there. He's played in big games. And arguably, he's been the best safety in the league the last 7 to 10 years. Yeah. So I really think it's going to be Earl Thomas. Again, and the other one I'm going to... the dark horse would be Darius Grice, the running back from Washington.
Yes, who's looked very good in camp so far.
Who was the leading rusher until he tore his ACL last year. But yeah, Earl Thomas.
I have to go... I didn't want to make so many homer picks, but... It is what it is. I got to go with my man Debo.
I could see that.
Deion Jones is so fucking important to the Falcons. He's so fucking important to the Falcons defense.
He's one of the best
range.
He's one of the best young middle linebackers I've ever seen, honestly.
His combination of speed, ball awareness, and his hitting ability.
He's a great coverage backer, and he doesn't get enough credit for it, honestly.
The pick that he made on Drew Brees a couple of years ago.
Oh, it was absurd.
Was insane. And that's a pretty regular play for him. You know, it got so much attention because it's a big divisional game, both in the playoff race at that point. I got to pick Deion Jones. He's coming back in a big way for the Falcons.
I would say, so there's so many players you could pick right here. Like I said,
I haven't given mine yet.
Oh, I apologize. Sorry.
The easy one for me, since I picked him to be a wild card, would be Jimmy Garoppolo. But the easiest one to pick, because he didn't play at all last year, and he's moving to a system that will give him touches with a young quarterback, it's Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell did not play at all last year. If he puts up three-quarters of what he normally does, he's going to have 1,200 rushing yards. He's going to have 600 receiving yards, and he'll have double-digit touchdowns. It's Le'Veon Bell.
Now, if you don't play, can you still be comeback player of the year?
Yeah,
okay.
It's just a matter of playing.
So and then I'll say, now if you go to other guys, Cooper Kupp could be up for that.
Cooper Kupp, again, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Keanu Neal.
So
there's a bunch of other guys that could possibly
there's a ton of guys. And the final one would be Coach of the Year. For me, it comes out in the 49ers again. So I'm going to go with Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan. All right. You've been Homer. I'll be Homer here. Vic Fangio. Vic Fangio is going to be the coach of the year. He's going to make that defense so fucking dominant in Denver. It's going to be ridiculous.
Bruce Arians again.
Okay, I could see that. And let's just go out on a limb here. Who finishes with the best record in the league this year?
Pats.
Pats
will be 13 will be 13-3.
I'll go Chiefs. And who will finish with the worst record and the number one overall pick? I'm not going to pick my own team. I'm going to say the New York Football Giants.
I am going to agree with you. The New York Football Giants.
It's a tie between the Arizona Cardinals and the Giants.
Oh, thank you. No one shit on the Dolphins. Even I'm not shitting on them.
The Dolphins aren't that fucking bad. They have playmakers on defense. The Cardinals have nobody.
Who? At head coach?
Brian Flores.
Who? A guy?
Flores. All right, guys.
A guy with a Latino last name who's not Latino.
So I think, you weren't part of our conversation that I had with Taylor last night, but I think during the football season, we're going to try to angle for Wednesdays to record so we can get it done before.
I love that.
Okay, so that's perfect. It's going to be fucking freezing at times, but we've dealt with that before. So we can get it done, get it posted before the Thursday Night Football. We also decided that whoever wins gets something from the two people that finish below them. Whoever finishes best in picks.
Okay.
So whoever loses gets a punishment.
Oh no.
And we're thinking like a small
Josh just so
we're
discreetly.
thinking like a small like non-visible tattoo.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah, like we're on your toes. If you finish worse, it's gonna say Dan Taylor across your toes.
Okay.
All right. So I was gonna
Dan Taylor.
So I was gonna say,
why don't we just call it that? We'll put it on the line right here at the show. At the end of the season, the loser has to get the other two people's names tattooed. I'm
not going on record and saying I'm gonna fucking do that. No.
Why not?
No.
There has to be
I'm not going the rest of my life. I'm not going the rest of my fucking life with you and your name tattooed on my fucking body.
Okay.
It's not happening.
Okay.
No.
What if we branded you?
You mean like in Jackass? Like Dunn did the BAM?
Yeah, but it won't be our names. Like we can get like Mickey Mouse branded on you.
Well, if I'm the one that gets branded and you're done...
Jackass,
okay, wait, time out.
Hold on. If I'm the one getting branded and you're done doing it, that means you die, so I might think about it.
True. Okay.
That's
so
terrible.
If you won't get our names tattooed, what about like a small non-visible, like normal tattoo?
It's not like... Don't do a tattoo of a dick.
No. Nothing sexual, like just like an elephant or like a can of Dr. Pepper tattooed on you somewhere.
That would be
Chiefs
funny.
logo.
Like, ooh.
No.
Because I'm never. I would literally.
Okay, so then the following year when you do it, you got to get a fucking Saints tattoo on your forehead.
No, because we're talking non-visible.
If someone said I had to get a Jets tattoo, I would literally kill myself on cam and
Wouldn't
say,
do it.
These guys bullied me into it.
All right.
It'd be 13 reasons why Dan's gay.
All right, so listen, real quick, if we guys want to do just say over-under, I want to just read the over-unders for the season.
For BetDSI, promo code YWIL.
Promo code YWIL. So, again, we'll just go through quick. The AFC East, the Buffalo Bills, over-under 6.5 games. Over or under?
Over.
Over?
Over
6.5 games. Oh, cool. I'm going to take the under on that. The Miami Dolphins, over 4.5.
Under.
You're going to take the under? What do you got?
I'll take the under.
I'm going to take the over on that just because I think it's a little bit better.
Okay.
The Jets, over under 7. Give me.
I think they're about 7.
They're about 7?
Yeah.
I think 7 even.
I'm going to take the over just because I think they're a little bit better than that.
Okay.
Now, the New England Pats. Here's one's going to be hard because, like...
What's it, 11.5?
11 flat.
Over.
So, you're going to take the over?
I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the over because I think they're going to be a 13-win team. Not great odds on that, but throw everything together. Baltimore Ravens, over, under 8.5 games.
Under.
Over.
Under? Okay, so you got the under, you got the over. I'm going to take the over on that, also because it's got better odds. Cleveland Browns, over 9.5. Over.
Under.
You going to take the under?
Ooh,
Jesus, that's a rough one. You better do a parlay on that, Josh.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals, over under 6 games.
Under,
for sure. 3 wins maybe. Pittsburgh Steelers, over under 9. Over?
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
What about you?
I'm going to take the over.
Okay.
Jacksonville Jaguars, over under 8 games. I think that one's easy.
Over.
That would be the shut up. Tennessee Titans, over under 8. I'm taking the under.
Under.
Immediately taking the under. That's a hard one, but I would take the under.
Under.
I'll take even on that one.
You'll take who?
He's going to say 8 is like what he's expecting.
Oh,
even.
8?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a push. We'll do that. Indianapolis Colts, over under 6.5. I'm going the under just because Luck's gone.
Push.
I'm taking the under on that.
Push.
I'll take the under too.
Okay, Houston Texans, over under 8.5 games.
Over.
Cool. I will take the over on that as well. Okay, Kansas City Chiefs, over under 10.5 games. Over. Okay, that's for betting wise. That's me.
You got it. You have to take the over too.
Ugh, I'm gonna fucking throw up. Los Angeles Chargers, over under 9.5.
Under.
You're gonna take the under?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take the over. Denver Broncos, over under 7 games. I'm taking the over 1,000%. Now this is one.
I think they're about an 8-win team, so I'm going to take the over.
So now here's the thing. Here's the one where the odds are just even. This is a straight pick 'em at this point.
I'll take the over because I agree with Dan. I could see 8 and 8, 9 and 7, something like that.
I'll take the over because I'm a homer.
Yeah.
Over because I'm a homer. Shut up. Oakland Raiders, over under 6.5 games. I'm taking the under. They stink.
Under.
All right. NFC East, over under Eagles, 9.5. Over. Okay. Washington Redskins, over under 6 games.
Over.
I'm going to take the over. That's plus 100. Those are good odds. That's a great bet. New York Giants, over under 6 games. I'm taking the under.
Give me 2 unders.
Jesus Christ. From under cheese.
I see the Giants as no more than a 3-win team.
Same.
I think if they get 6 wins, it's a great season.
If they get 6 wins, they should just be given the Super Bowl trophy.
Dallas Cowboys, over under 9.
Over.
Now your better odds are the over, plus 105. I would take the over on that, especially if Zeke Elliott comes back.
I can see 10 and 6, maybe 11 and 5.
Push on that.
Push.
Okay.
They're
fair
going
enough.
8 and 1.
8. Shut up.
That's such a Cowboys record.
8 and 1.
All right.
Fuck you, Justin.
NFC North, Minnesota Vikings, over under 9. I'm taking the under.
Wait, that's not possible.
You'll see. Oh, 8, 7 and 1.
Jesus.
What's the Vikings?
Vikings is over under 9. I'm taking the. I would take the over. Green Bay Packers, over under 9. I'm taking the under.
I'm going to take the under.
I'll take the under.
I'll take the under. That's a little high.
Yeah.
Chicago Bears, over under 9.5. I'll just hammer the over on that.
Yeah.
The odds are ridiculous. Detroit Lions, over under 6.5. Hammering the under. I'm hammering the under.
No, I'll give them the over.
I'm going to take the under on that one.
I see maybe 7 and 9, 8 and 8.
I could easily see that, but on those odds, I'm going to take the under because the fact that I think they lean more towards bad than good. The Lions, I do think they're going to be better, but I'm going to take the under.
Okay, so now we're down the NFC South. Atlanta Falcons, over under 8.5 games. Over. Okay, I'll take the over on that as well. Carolina Panthers, over under 7.5.
Under.
Hammer the fucking under, dude. That one's good. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, over under 6.5.
Oh, way over.
I'll take the over on that. Yeah.
I'll take the under on that one. That's why I'm a bad bettor. New Orleans Saints, over under 10.5.
Under.
I'm gonna hammer that over. 10.5 at plus 110.
They're 11 wins.
Easy.
For me.
Especially in that division, for sure. NFC West, LA Rams, 10.5, over under. I'm gonna hammer. I'm gonna take the over on that.
Over.
Yeah.
Arizona Cardinals, over under 5. Hammer the fucking
under.
It's so bad. San Francisco 49ers, over under 8 games.
Over.
That one's interesting.
Over.
I would actually take the under because it's got the better odds.
It's a tough one, dude.
It is. It's rough.
That's about what they probably are.
With
realistically.
everyone healthy, it could work out.
Yeah,
that way.
I'm going to take the over though. That's a good bet to me.
And then Seattle Seahawks, over under 8.5. I'm taking the under on that as well.
I'll take the over.
I'm going to take the over.
Take the under. Okay, so those are your over unders for the win totals
season.
Of the upcoming
next
season.
week we will be starting with our picks for week to week. We will be tracking our win loss totals. The winner gets a prize. The loser gets something embarrassing done to them. Nothing that's going to professionally hurt them or anything, or maybe sexually. I'm down. And this was episode 66? 7?
I think it's 7.
Of You Watch, I Listen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for Josh for forgetting his computer and being white girl wasted last night. You look like you haven't showered yet.
I have not.
So you need to go home, shower. We'll have this
I'm
video.
going to sleep, dude.
Dude, I enjoyed your Snapchat.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, because I just remembered I left my keyboard at work.
Okay, there you go. Make the video tomorrow.
Left my computer at home, left my keyboard at work.
Why is the keyboard...
All right.
Or whatever.
We'll see you cunts next week.
Goodbye.